Montreal's got a chance to can't do it.
Yeah, where are you?
Already.
I'm at the back.
Retired, lost.
No, no, go ahead.
Well, I was looking at it.
Nice to meet you.
Still good for almost 8 or 9. Like one, the last time. Yeah. We had a player got attended at Pelican, and then a few plays later, the rest realized he's on the ice there. Because he doesn't speak Russian. And then the ref goes over and tells the pro. It's Jack. He's supposed to be. We went to 988. Yeah. Right? So we think it's supposed to be in Fox, but after seeing it, I'm so used to that. Good as that, yeah, but we,
Really?
get it out there. Oh. We get 2 points. Yeah, because they give them that, so. I represent. Well, then, they don't, but the 2 points, we're down 4. Yeah. That's 2. We're down, I think we're down 3.
3 and 7.
Yeah, I was looking at it yesterday. I think it's 2 for win, 1 for an overtime loss. Soccer's 3. 3 points for a win, 1 for a loss, 0.
Nothing to do.
Honestly, so I know this is the last thing.
Yeah, yeah, right. Today I read out the last week.
50 wins, 100 points. Now it's and then we have it.
Is that what? No, because it should win.
And they're still in the stadium waiting for the order more than us.
Yeah, right.
They have formal than us to do play it, so. Yeah. Right.
I really didn't know that. That's today.
You do
His best is just really
that. So be innocent. You're just a big one.
You're sorry.
Yeah, but you, I don't know what you're gonna be, but you don't have food that you want. Oh, it's so great. I love it for those.
Get time.
Okay.
Because overtime losses seems a little bit of.
Right. I get the point. You get 2 for colleagues. So. Ready, Charlie?
I'm ready.
Ready?
All right. Calling the April City of Columbus Graphics Commission into session. Do you have any preliminary matters to discuss?
We do.
Sure.
You want to make any general announcement?
I don't think so. Any likelihood of providing testimony today in any matter before the commission, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that all the testimony you'll provide will be the truth to the best of your belief and or knowledge. If so, say I do.
I do. Jamie, because you're.
We have one preliminary matter,
Okay.
a case that was heard about 5 years ago, that has requested extensions.
Oh.
Secondly, every April for the past 5 years, the city requested for an extension. GC 20-034 from 1187 North High Street.
Hello? This is for the short.
Microphone close to your mouth. Just state
And
your name.
please state your name for the record.
My name's Logan Diltz. I'm with Day Night Sign Company.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, this is an extension for the short north stage. They're still working on it. We're hoping to move forward here in the next year or so. So we're just asking for an extension.
Do you have any problems with the extension request? Could I have a motion to table GC 25015?
So moved.
Okay.
Yeah, why are you tabling it instead of granting the, or voting on the extension?
Yeah, to extend it.
Oh, so a motion to extend it for 1 year, I'm sorry. If I misspoke. So do I have a motion to extend this for a year? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
I would say today.
say yes. Say yes. Thank you. Do I have a second? Okay, we need to vote on it?
Yes.
Mr. Cavaliers?
Yes.
Mr. Williams? Sorry. Pay attention. Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine? Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore? Yeah. Chair Cookman? Yes, and it's extended. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Anything else, Jamie, or?
That's it. We can go ahead with our regular agenda.
Okay, calling the first case, GC 24-004, 3058 Allegheny Avenue. Okay. Mr. Trimmer, your take.
Yes, 3058 Allegheny Avenue is located on the northwest corner of Allegheny Avenue and North Gold Road. It's an AR1 apartment residential and part of the Mid-East Area Commission. The site is developed with an apartment complex with an existing identification sign and 2 entrance ground signs. Surrounding uses are an educational facility to the south, a rail line to the north, and apartment complexes to the east and west. The applicant proposes to replace the existing identification sign and 2 entrance ground signs and legitimize their setbacks. Variances are being requested to reduce the setbacks of all 3 signs from 15 feet to 2 feet, and to increase the graphic area of the entrance sign from 24 square feet to 32 square feet. Planning is supportive of the variance as the Port Columbus Joint Economic Development Strategy area plan requires that identification signs and prominent gateway locations include landscaping and other types of additional amenities to highlight these gateways. The proposal is consistent with these guidelines, and staff notes the applicant is replacing existing signs and that the landscaping is currently provided at signage location. Therefore, staff is supportive. Division of Traffic Management had no comments, and the Mid-East Area Commission recommended approval with a vote of 12-0. Staff can recommend approval. The requested setback reductions reflect existing conditions and will not negatively affect pedestrian movement or the surrounding area. The increase in graphic area for sign A is not negligible and keeping with the recommended plan guidelines. Chair.
Can you please state your name for the case?
Yeah, my name is Caleb Moore with Moore Signs.
And you've been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, who's presenting the case?
Mr. Trimmer summed it up pretty nicely. However, I will add that originally we intended to just replace like for like to a certain degree, and we were just going to rely on the existing permits that were on the existing signs. However, myself nor through a records request could we find any permits of the original signage. Therefore, we were required to go through a typical variance process. That pretty much sums it up, I think. Just wanted to add that.
Can you sort of talk a little bit about the hardship that is interact with these variances?
The buildings, some of the apartment complexes, buildings have a sidewalk in front of them, as you can see in that sign C graphic. If we were to move it back, it would be on or pretty darn close to the sidewalk. And we just felt this would be a problem for pedestrians on that sidewalk getting to and from their apartments.
And it's what, not technically legal, non-conforming, Jamie, because we couldn't find permits?
Correct. Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Anyone? Would anyone like to make a motion to adopt the finding of fact?
Make a motion to adopt the finding of facts as stated by staff. Yeah.
Second? I'll second. We can vote on adopting.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine, Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris,
Yeah.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and I have a motion to approve the application.
Make a motion to approve application BC 25-00.
Second, anyone? Second that. We can go ahead and vote.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris?
Yes.
Mr. Hoyt?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, the application is approved.
Thank you.
Chair Cooperman, just for the record, would you have it reflect that Commission Member Moore recused himself on the matter?
Please let the record reflect, Member Moore had to recuse himself. Okay, next case. Application GC 25-006, 700 East Fourth Street. And Jamie, third case.
Yes. 700 East Long Street is located at the northwest corner of East Long Street and Milton Avenue. The site is zoned in the UCT Urban Center District and within the jurisdiction of the Near East Area Commission. The 0.49 acre site is built with an 80-foot tall mixed-use building, with 90 residential units, ground floor commercial space, and a parking lot. The proposed graphs plan include roof signs on 3 elevations. On the south building elevation, the deal halo channel letters. The west building elevation, the deal halo channel letters. The south building parapet above the roof line. It's a 91 square foot roof mounted stand. From the north building elevation is again the deal halo channel letters. There will also be entry signage on the south elevation, projecting canopy pending approval with public service, which we'll hear later on in my report they have approved. This will be a 0.55 square, actually 7.5 by 10.5 illuminated in address of the deal. There will also be tenant signage. One sign on the south end elevation, which would be a total of 3 tenant signs. 2 on the south elevation and 1 on the east elevation. So there'll be a blade sign, 1 blade sign for tenant identification, 20 inches in diameter, 3.2 foot internal lumen. Near east area plan states that signs to be compatible with the building, neighboring building, compared to code node. The earlier the different track menu stated that it would appear that 3277.0983 requiring a clearance of 10 feet for signage and encroachment into the right of way, while the proposed 10 blade sign is indicated to have a clearance of 9 feet. The Division of Traffic Management has reviewed this and can now support both projecting sign, which has a height of 9 feet and proposed location on the southeast corner of the building. The Near East Area Commissioner recommends approval of this request. Staff is also recommending approval, as stated in the Near East Area Plan, signs to be compatible with the building, neighboring buildings, and the character of the commercial node. Staff note the signage in the package is compatible with the building and surrounding neighborhoods, and therefore approved.
You're asking for that to be a condition, the compatibility?
No, I'm saying that's the reason for support, sorry.
Okay. Please, signature in for the record. Whoever's been testified, want to vote?
Michael Kelly. And I'm Dave Perry here with Mr. Kelly Consulting on this application.
You both been sworn in?
Yes, I was.
More.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
you swear or affirm that the testimony will be the truth to the best of your belief and or knowledge, so say I do.
I do.
Okay, please present your case.
Okay. This is a project that's a partnership with the Deal family. The Deal family owned and operated the Deal Whitaker Funeral Home site that was on this property for many decades, and they live just a few houses up the street. So that's why it's called the Deal. The Deal family, Aaron, who I went to high school with, is a outstanding jazz musician, lives in New York City. His grandfather, Art Baskerville, was a jazz musician, played in the neighborhood. So one of the kind of brand themes will be music. The building is designed with an Art Deco detail, David Maleka. And so I can walk through, we've got I'll leave it. Okay. Yeah, what you're looking at, maybe if you go back to and maybe the next one. So you've basically got this 6-story element that's right on the southwest corner and facing downtown, and it's got on the south side, the west side, and the north side, you've got a clock, functioning clock. And above that would be a halo lit sign saying the deal. Those are details on the clock. The clock will be internally lit as well. Below that, with keeping, this is looking at it from the south elevation. And if you advance to the next slide, you'll see a closer up of the entry to the residential lobby for the 89 units. You see a canopy that extends 6 feet out into the right of way. It'll be, the face of that will be lit with a LED strip that's just kind of hidden at the bottom part of that canopy. And then you see the deal sign. If you zoom in a little bit on that logo, you see kind of what we've come up with to a logo that we think kind of, it's a nod to a musical note. It kind of looks like a note, but there, if you look in the negative space, you see an eye and a beak, which is the funeral home had a dove as its kind of as its logo. So it's kind of a nod to what used to be there. She did a really good job with that. So you see the space there just below, that's showing the profile that's on the east and west side of it. It's only 6 feet, so we only had room for just that logo there. And then if you keep going down, really right there is just showing potential future tenant signs. We don't have a tenant lease signed. There is a 2,600 square foot commercial space there to the right of the entry door to the residences that we just looked at, going all the way to the end of the building. It may be one tenant, it may be two tenants. And so because it may be two tenants, we're showing the possibility of having two signs there, as well as we're showing two options for a blade sign that would extend 45 degrees out from that southeast corner. And if we'll jump ahead maybe to that's one of them. Is the other one in there? Maybe?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Next page.
Well, there's another one that was a vertical blade sign that was a little more neon, like the round one's kind of more modern. The other one was just a neon option that might fall more into that 1920s kind of vibe. So we won't know for sure until we get a tenant. Bronzeville is so that big sign up at the top there. The neighborhood has gone through some identity. It was in the early 2000s that they redid the Lincoln Theater and named it the King Lincoln District. There's been some community leaders who didn't like that name and who has pushed for it to be called Bronzeville, and they've found historic evidence that there was a time when it was called Bronzeville. There's a much more famous Bronzeville in Chicago, but there were Bronzevilles in other cities, and they've made this case that it should be called Bronzeville. So when you go before the Near East Area Commission and you say the King Lincoln District, they'll correct you and say it's Bronzeville.
They point to a building that says Bronzeville.
And so they're thrilled. And if you look at Google Maps, it says Bronzeville, King Lincoln. So you oftentimes just have them put together. But they're excited about that sign. That it's an expensive sign as shown, and we're trying to figure out how to pay for it. So it may be something that doesn't happen right when everything else happens, but maybe down the road as we figure out how to pay for that sign. But that west side of the building is very visible from downtown as you travel east on Long Street. And it would be visible from the freeway and such. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Steve, you have to speak up, please. What did you ask?
Question about the Brownsville. Yeah.
Yeah, your microphone's not on, so you.
Is that on the side elevation, is that showing the parapet wall that covers most of that frame that's underneath it?
Yes,
As we look at the face of the sign, we won't see all of the vertical.
correct.
That's what this is here.
The upper lift, yeah, upper
That's
lift.
there,
Right.
that we eliminated, so you can see the framing,
Yes,
front elevation,
yeah.
so you can see that.
So I guess you'll just see the parapet and then a little bit above it, you'll see the sign. Yeah,
That would look better.
okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
Is it, illuminated?
Yes, it would be LED, but kind of looking a little bit like neon. But it would be, all that would be illuminated as from within.
Open space, Jan, right?
I believe so. Is that what does it say there? I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Open space,
Okay.
neon, but-
Yes.
The LED road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where's the sign facing?
West.
Toward downtown.
This is I mean, the main way to get into the neighborhood is Long Street. So it's kind of a gateway building, and so we were trying to figure out a way to be not just its own project, but also kind of a statement to the neighborhood in a memorable presence as you enter the King Lincoln District.
I can't see. So is that on Hamilton or is that on Pierce?
Elijah Pierce, yeah,
A land.
yes, that's right.
There's been, I'll just add, there's been an amazing positive support to the fact that Michael took on this project in the first place. And then the architecture and the signage package recently with the Near East Area Commission and Bronzeville. The Bronzeville neighborhood is part of the Near East Area Commission, but there are a lot of associations within the Near East Area Commission that hold their own meetings on these applications, and just 1000% endorsed all the way through.
As someone who represents a lot of developers and sees names of apartment complexes all starting with the now.
Right.
To actually hear the story behind it, that's me.
What was that? What the Ohio State trade?
Not a motion to retire, finding of fact.
I'll make a motion to adopt finding facts as stated by staff and the applicant.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, I have a motion to approve the application.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and your application is approved.
Well, thank you very much.
Sometimes the word "the" just precedes the kid's name.
I think that it's.
Right, it does.
Okay, next case, GC 25-007 4841 East Livingston Avenue. Jamie, do you want to say anything first before we?
Lee, you want to come up? So as you see on the agenda, the next 9 are for Oklahoma City schools. Individual school proposal gets voting ratios for the banner. I'll let Ms. Cole explain the differences in the banners. And well, we'll go through each. But feeling for a presentation of what the grant is and everything, that'll kind of explain why you're doing this. And we'll present this inside that we're recommending for the school. Now, there are 2 cases that are on the agenda that won't be heard tonight that didn't get given recommendation. That's number 5 on the agenda, which is 2642 Buffy Road. And
It was received in time.
Yes.
what's that?
The recommendation for that was received.
Oh, we did receive it.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to my answer, anything's happened forward.
Yeah, it said all mine are going forward.
Oh, okay, then the only other one would be number 10. That's the students.
That's the one that's marked on our.
The South High.
And has it been tabled already?
That's what we're asking you to table it, so like, we can use it.
Do you want to take care of that first?
Yeah, let's take care of that one first, and we'll go through.
All right. Can I have a motion to table case GC 25-015 1160 Canal Street?
Motion to table, section number G5,
015.
015.
Give it a second.
I'll put it in.
Or a double second.
Mr. Cavaliers,
Yes.
Mr. Hoyt,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine, Mr. Rumball,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Chair Ackerman.
Yes, okay. Case number 10 on the agenda, GC 25015 has been tabled, so we'll go back now to the third case, GC 25-007, 4841 East Livingston.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and kick this off, and then, well, you want to go ahead and give a presentation of why you're actually here requesting these, and talk about the grants.
And then we kick back in.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Lee Cole. I'm the Executive Director of Engagement for Columbus City Schools, and I'm proud to present to you an overview of Legacy Lights. Legacy Lights is an initiative that places pole banners on decorative light posts, utility poles, and in some instances, which is the first one before you, attached to buildings that celebrates what's going on in our schools, the accomplishment of our communities, and it's an opportunity to let anyone in our community that's driving down the street to see the return on investment for what they have given to Columbus City Schools. So the Legacy Light Banners is a community engagement initiative that again celebrates the accomplishments of the students. At each one of our high schools, the banners will be placed outside of the buildings according to how many decorative light poles are out, whether there are utility poles that are metal. We have 3 buildings that have metal poles that will have the banners on them. And then we have, I believe, 4 buildings that will have larger banners affixed to those buildings. Each one of those banners are customized to the individual schools. They have messages of school pride, or whether they have received achievements from U.S. News and World Report, if they're one of the top 100 schools in the state or one of the top 500 schools in the state, or accomplishments that they have received state recognition for any of their athletics or arts programming. We look to unveil the majority of these schools starting in May. We came before you last year with the Fort Hays campus where there were over 40 banners, and those were placed inside the Fort Hays campus, again, celebrating the accomplishments of the students, the staff, the Grammy Award-winning staff, and then messages of achievement for those students, and also building markers to have across their buildings. So what we're looking for from you is approval to have these banners up at our schools indefinitely while the buildings are in use. They will be on a regular replacement cycle as they begin to weather out in the elements. They will be replaced if the schools receive any additional achievements, when state accomplishments or any other U.S. News, World Report, or anything of that nature. Those banners will be updated with that particular messaging and then replaced. We have set aside funding for them to be replaced on a regular cycle. And we have received the 614 Beautiful grant that funds the permitting process and the initial installation of all the banners and the mounting brackets.
And the what, I'm sorry.
Mounting brackets?
Have you been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay. Before we, why don't we present this first
Sure.
case?
And let me just say, I had Ms. Fulton at our staff review, I think we may have had a different representation of what we're doing here. Our initial thoughts were, like, it's just gonna be advertising, which apparently they are not. So hopefully you can address that in your finding of fact, that this is these are for institutional use of their grant base, and, rather than this side, which we're running off, we're having money, which what our fear is, so.
Jake, can you pull the mic closer?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll turn it on to you. Okay, having said that, first case.
Sorry, what did you say? You want us, is that for what?
So what I was saying was, had Ms. Cole been in our internal staff review all these cases, I think our recommendations might have been a bit skewed towards favorable. She, so eloquently pointed out that for institutional use of the grant base, they're not just for advertising. The argument was made that what if this is commercial business, like a Red Lobster, that's like beach shrimp. We want that, probably. But based on everything she said, we're not as staunchly against some of these that we appear to be on paper. So hopefully you can address that in your finding of fact, however you. So with that, okay, go ahead.
I need to add, that's okay. I noticed on application 3, this is my alma mater, high school. Am I allowed to vote on this?
Don't take this personally, but you're far enough removed. That's my least far enough removed, yes, I think as long as you can remain fair and impartial, you do not need to recuse yourself.
But, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything you want to state specifically about this?
So, I mean, yeah, we can just kind of skip towards the recommendations. So, on this first one, go to the depictions here. Staff is recommending disapproval of this particular one. As the size and number of banners directed towards East Livingston Avenue, we feel are excessive. Staff is support request where the banners will oriented to the south, which would be directed internally towards their athletic fields. And we don't have any issues.
If they were faced internally, there would be no public exposure, right?
Correct.
Would that be the purpose?
Yes.
Then,
But again, when we review these in terms of staff, we're thinking equitably among any kind of, anybody who wanted to put a banner up in that. So let me also reiterate, these banners, this request is for, variance there to increase the number of banners from 1 to 5, increase the display time from 30 days to indefinite, and increase the area from 16 square feet, for total of all 5 to 160 square. We're gonna be 5 32 square foot banners. They're all 4 by 8.
Yes.
Good math.
well, they could be, that should still be 30. School, you want to present a case now for this particular property?
Yes, we believe that inclusion of these banners not only celebrate what's going on in the schools, but it's also an opportunity for the community to experience what's going on in the schools. We would be more than ready if the charge is to reduce the number of banners that are placed on the side of the building if you believe that the number is too much, but we really feel that the number of banners that are placed not only reiterate the messages that the school is trying to send to the community, but it also is a point of pride in aiding to beautify the community as well. So we humbly ask that we retain all 5.
Go ahead. I noticed that they're all grouped on this side of the windows and doors there, right?
Yes, sir.
Would they look a little less cluttered if maybe 2 of them were on the other side of that window? Spread them out a little bit more?
I mean, we believe there's a tree over there.
Okay.
And so that's why we had them all on that side of the building. And then there is also an emblem affixed to the building, which we would have to change the size.
So
Yes,
are they canvas or?
vinyl.
Vinyl.
Mhm.
Like, are they 6 feet off the ground, so they're not right?
Mhm.
And since it's the definitely variance, we would like say need contact every time, right, Jamie? So.
They would definitely need an installation permit every time we switch them out, but they would not have to come back to us.
Okay. Gosh, I really big signs. As opposed to 5 sort of small ones. I don't want to sign it, but I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if you were to lay that on the challenge, really square and look at those things. Of course, we don't have that triple issue. You're kind of looking at boxes, skewed perspective. Those aren't scale, right? We don't really know what the scale of the
Yeah, just,
words.
Rather steep, instead of strong sign.
So what makes something a banner versus a sign?
That's where I was going.
Well, a banner, well, a temporary sign is it's defined as a rigid soft cloth, whereas a banner is a hard sign. This is defined, I mean, we can definition.
Thinking about the case we had up by Bethel.
For the school,
Yeah,
window graphics,
that was mostly because of window graphics.
yeah, they were all window graphics, they weren't fixed with.
But by definition, even though it's made out, not made from the material, the requesting to be indefinitely, because that make it no longer a banner.
No, that makes it no longer a temporary.
Obviously.
But yeah. It is.
Go ahead, Mike.
One other thing I noticed on this location, the thing about it is it's really I think the access road down to the parking is there, and then you go farther to Livingston, so in reality, it really sets back pretty far. So I don't think there's any problem.
Is that towards the parking lot or?
It's towards the street.
Yeah,
It's
there is
It's like an access road, yeah.
Yeah, so it sits back really far.
And that was the rationale on making them so big so that you would have a little more prominence to see it from the street because of the setback.
Especially because they're mounted flat.
Yes, sir.
Let's remember to be, one at a time, so it's through.
So this application is requesting a variance. And to consider a variance, you have to be able to demonstrate some kind of hardship to allow you to vary from the code, which only permits one banner.
Mhm.
So do you have a hardship?
Well, the hardship is the size of the banner and the space. It would be pretty difficult to see unless it was an enormously large horizontal banner, which would have some difficulty staying up and affixed and weathered. For the space we were seeking to cover. This allows us to be a little more nimble and get more messages on the banner. And it allows us to replace them in the normal 3 to 5 year cycle of a lifespan of a vinyl banner.
I don't think that's the type of hardship that's typically presented or used as a.
Can you use for the hardship be considered also, they're trying to show the community the right of return?
Because the language will change often, on average about 3 years. So this allows us to, for banners that have not weathered, we're able to keep those up and then change the banners that we seek to change to update the messaging.
Scots, what does that stand for?
That's they're the Scots, Walnut Ridge Scots. Mhm.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't believe that. Oh, yeah. That's it. And also, because the utility poles are made of wood is why we have to have them affixed to the building. If that was one of your questions as far as hardship.
Because what is that?
We can't affix to wooden utility poles. We were denied. So this was our option because we were denied affixing them to the utility poles, which was our first request. Yes.
So Mr. Cooper, yeah, I forgot to mention in my speech, so the two types of banner proposals we're gonna see are wall mounted banners or banners affixed to metal light poles in the parking lots or. So the light poles here are in the city right of way. And our city's traffic or Department of Public Service won't allow everyone to spectate into a. So their only option for these banners would be on that.
Okay.
Some of these later ones we'll see.
But what kind of, why 5 instead of 1?
Because we were aesthetically looking to have 5 spread out over that space, we thought it would be more aesthetically pleasing. It's also in contrast to the horizontal windows on the other side of the building, just visually designed balance. Was why that particular design selection of vertical banners.
One thing, for me, I like the 5 banners, and I think that, because of the way our schools are looking, they used to be open to the public, people could come in, now they're not, you can't just come in and see, to look at it with the, like the trophy case or the, you can't see those things, so I think that this is a great way to share, because that's how they were used to come to the schools to see. I think that myself is on that share, so.
Would you agree to some conditions, I don't know how everyone feels, but, you know, that the institutional, the content stays institutional?
Oh, yes.
So,
Oh, yes, that's a definite, that's the part of the program.
not the salad, we're part of the advertisers.
You have to read
No.
condition on premise, because I mean, it's about the school, it's on premise.
And will the content, like, would you say the lifespan's 3 years, will it be the content decided on principal or like board of education or?
The principals and the students, but they all have to go up the chain and be ultimately approved by the superintendent.
As a superintendent?
Mhm.
Thanks.
No free for all on messaging.
What other conditions, James? I would say a condition about on-premise advertising will be about the schools.
Well, yeah, that would require special permit regardless, so they have to come back at the same time or go advertising. But, you know, there is a section of the code that says anytime it gets, tethered or frayed, it has to be replaced, which sounds like that's why they want the ability to replace 5 instead of 1. So if 1 gets frayed and 4 others aren't, there's one giant one, they have to replace the entire thing. That makes sense. What was your question? What was your question?
My question was, what other conditions would you recommend?
Conditions? We really don't have any conditions.
One position, it's not advertising.
Well, I mean, that doesn't really have to be a condition since that's a city code standard.
Yeah.
I'd like the improvement on the superintendent.
I just had a trouble over, I don't see any partnership.
You know, when you read, when you read through the variance and ask, you know, like for instance, are due to exceptional shallow shape, topography, so forth. In this particular case, it is the setback of the building that gives it a bit of difficulty of getting this type of banner up. So I see that. I also see that if they can't put this type of information up, and it's under number 3 in the variances, it prevents a reasonable return of service. Now, we're talking about schools, but we're also talking about, we want our public school to succeed, and there's a lot of private schools that they compete. So that's also giving them the ability to be up there with the other schools to say what we did. So I do see the variance in hardship. Maybe.
Can I say something? I also see hardship, based on, piggyback on what you were saying, where if, the community can't go into the schools and see what achievements are happening, then that can make the road go down, that can make, families not want to live in the neighborhood, and the school might not be attractive. So, some hardships that I see.
I guess to your point, why not 4 or 3?
Design. So if that is something that needs to be discussed, we can.
So did you already have those 5 doors prepared? build a sign, just think 5 signs are better than counting doors to fill them.
Those are the messages of the school and we put them on 5 banners.
So it's a hard thing, but that's.
Mhm.
I think it also gives the ability to. Like.
See it from-
It's changed, it doesn't work. Upset, we are, I guess, I might think it might have.
I didn't want you to fill the space architecture with 5 banners, just felt like that's if it makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
The branding thing or school thing that has its 5 words that.
I'm guessing, yeah. Totally guessing. It doesn't stand for pride.
Yes.
You're a star.
Good lows down. Rolling.
Ma'am, do you want to testify?
No.
Ma'am, do you want to?
Oh, no, I'm just.
Yeah, we work together, yeah. Yeah, we all work together,
Got it.
but that has to do with replacement cycle and that's not the part that's up for debate. Yeah, you can come. Yes.
We, one reason we did 4x8.
Were you sworn in?
Yes. Yes, we were
You gotta
together.
state your name on the mic.
So, my name's Carissa Izzo. So the one reason you're talking about the size is because if something happens, we can replace these quickly, 4x8 with in-house. So then we don't have to ship them out and wait for another manufacturer or anything. We'll do them in-house, so we can get them up within like a day or 2 if something happens to them.
You were fabricating the damage yourself?
No, the print
Only
shop-
the ones that are affixed to the buildings.
Buildings.
Because our in-house print shop can't do the pocket and the stitching for the poles. Correct. Yes, but the other banners, those are fabricated in-house.
Maybe jumping ahead a little bit, but I looked at the other ones
Yes.
and they're all smaller, 24x72.
Mhm.
Is that because they're all gonna be on poles?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mhm. And there's a few that are on decorative that are,
Okay.
24x60. And those are the black decorative.
Have you checked structural integrity?
Yes, we worked with Buildings and Grounds and they recommended the locations and how they will be affixed.
And how they'll be fixed and how the wind load can take that much banding?
Yes.
That's a big wing.
I agree, that we could probably just add, the approval of the superintendent. That way, it will be just for the schools to work this. Like it.
Oh,
Well, spell profit, it's cool.
as far as like. Preventing that getting lies or stolen.
Replacement cycle. There's nothing we can't predict, but we have that in our replacement cycle. Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time I heard taken, but
Anyone else have any more questions? Can I have a motion to adopt the finding of fact?
Motion to adopt the finding of facts for session TCD 2 fines and
I'll second.
You need to reflect that testimony you're accepting.
Stated by, as stated by staff, yeah, this is not for advertising, this, brand based, and it's used for community records.
Second. Mr. Hoyt,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, can I have a motion to approve the application?
Motion to approve application CC 25 bill 77 the condition of approval for superintendent.
Second.
Whoa. We don't need to add, I don't, think we don't need to add that.
That's fine.
I mean, it's within the schools. I mean,
It's duplicative, so
Yeah.
it's already
I
in
can,
policy.
I
If you
don't
want to do what you can.
can't change the way that decisions are made. I don't think we need to add this. Anyway. Can I have a new motion to approve just so it's clear?
Motion to approve application GC 25 007.
Okay, we have a second.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavaleras?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
No, but your application is. Okay, next case is GC 25 009 2555 Briggs Road. Mr. Smiley, you want to present this case?
They just go through the proposal and then they send.
Okay, the applicant proposes to install three 12 square foot banners on light poles in the parking lot facing Briggs Road. Variances are being requested to increase the number of banners from 1 to 3, to increase display time from 30 days to indefinite, and to increase the area from 16 square feet to 36 square feet, which is the total for all three. Staff is recommending approval. The proposed banners are appropriately sized and will be located in a manner that they minimize visibility from the public right of way. Staff recommends approval as the requested signage meets C2, P2 guidelines as it is compatible with the surrounding residential character.
So these banners will be placed on the light poles in the parking lot that are closest to the street. And that will allow residents to see them as well. And there are only 3 poles on this site that we're looking to place the banners on.
How are they, you have a picture of on the pole and on the screen? Okay, I see the copy there, but is it on the outside like a flag or how do you?
The horizontal poles.
So up and down on the outside,
Mhm.
not where the light is, but on the opposite side.
Correct. If you want to.
Make sure.
Can you,
Sit of the names on there.
yeah,
Yeah.
on top and the bottom.
Slide in.
Is that right? Is that the way it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're vertical banners that will be affixed to the light poles with 2 mounting brackets, and they will slide in and then be secured.
Got it.
Now, these particular banners don't appear to be viewed from public right of way anyway, so.
Yes, they will be.
Oh, they
Mhm.
can be.
Yes, from the street.
Once again, on this location, it's wood poles out front, so we had to move them in.
Mhm.
Ah.
They're wood poles on the street, so we affix them to the parking lot. So they're big enough where they're positioned, you can see them from the street.
What I was driving at is, this is from public.
Correct.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Will they have a copy on both sides?
Yes.
Fine.
Mhm.
The same copy on each side.
Yes,
Are there a total of 3 light poles in the parking lot?
yes.
Now here, as opposed to the last one, there's 3, I see the need for a variance because there's actually 3 light poles and you want 3 signs.
Yes.
And city staff recommend approval of this one.
Is our first one?
Oh, you did in the first one? Any conditions for this one that you would recommend, or are we gonna say none for all of these. They're going to be consistent across the board.
Oh, I don't think there are any, probably any.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Go for it.
I'll make a motion to adopt finding of facts as stated by staff.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Rumbo,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and can I have a motion to approve the application?
Make a motion to approve application GC 25-0.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Second.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and then your application is approved. The next one is,
The next few are me. So,
we're on number 5, right?
yeah, correct.
The next case is GC 25-010, 2632 McGuffin Road. Mr. Smith.
The applicant proposes to install 3 32-square-foot banners on the western elevation of the building. Variances. Variances are being requested to increase the number of banners from 1 to 3. That increase display time from 30 days to indefinite, and to increase the area from 16 square feet to 96 square feet total for all 3. 9-0 approval from North Linden. Staff recommends disapproval as the sizes and number of banners facing McGuffey Road are excessive and visually dominate the building facade. Staff could be supportive of a revised request with smaller banners or placement on a less prominent elevation to minimize visual impact.
Now, on this particular site, we have Columbus Alternative High School. All of the utility poles in front of this facility are not only wooden, majority of them are leaning. So there is no opportunity at all. Yes, they actually are leaning. There's no opportunity at all to.
Sorry.
There's no opportunity at all to affix them to the utility poles. But we chose this specific location because it is closer to the street, so that residents or anyone driving down the street has a greater opportunity to see the banners. We chose that particular size again to increase the visibility there. We did not want to choose to affix them to the that is the gym side. We chose not to affix it to the building that is set back, because it would be very narrow. The space between the buttress on both sides of the front doors and the windows are quite narrow, and then the banners would have to be even longer. We really wanted to highlight the excellence of the school and the Prepared for Leadership message, in accompanying with the U.S. News and World Report rankings that the school has earned over the past decade or so.
So swing,
Yeah.
it's a swing space.
I can neither confirm or deny the usage of the building in future form, but currently it is Columbus Alternative High School.
What happens if, it's, another location is turned times?
Then the banners will be taken down if it is no longer in operation as COS. And then we will probably come before you again with another request at the facility that it's in, or alter the banners at a different facility if it is moved. But the banners only stay in place as that building is operational in its current form. Yes.
What's the particular reason that you voted disapproval of this one specifically as opposed to the first two?
Because the size of these banners are significantly larger than the last application, and being much closer to the roadway and directed right towards the road. So, yeah, similar to the first case.
The drawings you have with this application, those are not 4x8. This is the correct graphics for this location.
Yes.
This is either not 4 foot by 8 foot banners.
Right, but they will be 4 foot by 8 foot banners when they go up on the building.
Like this, you're gonna-
It'll be lengthened. It'll be more of the black space up top.
It was water under the bridge, but the first one we falls. I was under the impression that they were going to be perpendicular to the building. They're
Horizontal?
Flat against the building.
Flat.
Yes.
But they
Mhm.
will be flat against the building.
Yes.
When does a sign become a banner when it could be called a flexible face?
Well, like I showed you, the banner defined. So if it says non-rigid cloth, canvas, or plastic graphic, other than a flag, spreading on or off of its copy, it's a banner.
We have hundreds of signs in Columbus that are flexible faces. When I mean, concern flexible, it's whatever that is the common code. It's a flexible face, it's made out of the same material she can use against the buildings. But is that the common, it's.
Yeah, well, so what is your question? Why are, these are, if this was a 15 square foot banner,
Yeah, well, what if it was a permanent sign?
made of rigid cloth,
Flexible material, a flex face, just like any other flex face we have in the city.
well, if it doesn't meet the definition of banner, it's not a banner.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
You're talking about a sign. I mean, for a sign, it'd be.
Well, all banners are signs, but not all signs are banners.
Right.
So. Yeah, are you see, are you asking why are other flexible face signs? limited?
Yeah, there's a lot of flexible face signs in Columbus.
Do they meet this definition?
What is the?
Right here.
Made out of can plastic.
Yeah, they're made out of canvas material.
Non-rigid cloth, canvas, or plastic graphic other than flag.
Yes, there's hundreds of them.
Well, the mayor's right.
The only difference, Mark, if I can point out, is that they are meant to be framed, it stretches them. That's the only difference.
I'm not saying.
You can go with that, they go great. I am.
Why do you ask the question you already know the answer?
To me, these could be, could be that are a permanent flexible base sign and not a ban.
I think that what we were saying to, they're stretching on something that's rigid.
They're on frame.
Exactly, that's where it's not abandoned.
So if these were mounted in a frame, then they would no longer be a ban.
Maybe.
Well, I guess that's a great reduction here, yes.
Okay, let's move on.
I have a question on the sizing.
Yeah.
How are you making up the extra? Where's the 4x8 coming? Because to me, that's a,
This looks like 2 by 8.
yeah, something like that. What do you want?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 2x8. That's, I apologize. Yeah, it's a 2x8. Yes. I don't know how that got there.
So the square footage is wrong in your calculating, right?
They're 4 by 8. That's right.
It's the same as the other ones.
Other ones
I'm
are
not-
4 by 8.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's
I'm
4 by
getting-
8
Yes,
Yeah.
they are, because that's a,
because this is going.
yes, it's going on the side of the.
Side of the
gym. Yeah.
building.
So that is correct. Yeah, it's a 4x8.
4 by 8.
That's,
That can't be, because that's,
what I'm pointing out.
the top is definitely 4 times smaller than the side.
Correct. So on top, it'll have more block.
They just really think that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
okay.
relay it out.
but
Now you have me confused.
I'm sorry.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, I'm like, now I'm
Much
confused.
smaller than we had published. No, they said it is 4 by 8.
Because 4x8, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. where we don't know.
So it is 4 by 8. This is depiction is different. Okay, that's right.
That's
The agenda is correct.
Do you understand what?
Yeah.
Yes, we've done a lot of these. We
Yeah.
just we mixed up now.
Also, your message will fit.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
it will
yes.
be this-
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That is the message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the messaging is all,
Everything will stay, everything, the design and everything is the same.
Well, and from a design standpoint, with Aaron and Steve and Mike,
Mhm.
shouldn't this be inverted? Shouldn't we read it going, if you turn to the left, it's upside down.
Well, that's
No, that's correct.
what led me to believe that these were going to be vertical off the building.
Not flagging as a building because their sign has a whole thing.
I guess the
Yeah,
readability
they're,
of font and composition. Right, whether that's read this way or that way.
They might be this design and be consistent with the rest of the.
yes, that's
Yeah.
the purpose, yes.
But the composition change would like that.
Right.
The only thing that will change will be the background image. The text will grow up until, so it will still visually look like that. But everything as far as that will be the same. So if it is a little wider, the black background and the stripes will just extend a little
What
further.
I'm saying is, if this is your road,
Yes,
compare to the left, this would be upside down, you would rise it up, or vice versa. So it should be inverted.
They're set up, they're set up, they 8 foot tall.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying it unbent.
Yes, to be flipped, yeah. 180. But your intentions are not a little birdies.
Yes.
Yes.
But at 4 foot wide and 8 foot tall.
Mhm.
It's just a big arm. So just to be clear, the calculations you had that you're requesting in here are accurate.
Yes.
This doesn't reflect that depiction. The depiction is just off. Right. Okay. Any other questions? So.
Is there a changeable copy sign at the school?
I don't recall, like in the front, like a marquee.
Yeah.
I don't believe so, not at Cos. Is there?
Sort of like entry, your arrive sign.
No, most of the students enter through the back, and that's what we have in the windows, welcome with the window clings, but not at the front door. So the back that isn't visible from the street at all. You enter from the parking lot into the
There's
back.
really nothing else inside.
No,
There may be a small sign. I can look it up real quick. If you want.
no, I mean, we're looking at that. Yeah, it's all in the back of the building.
And also there's no, when we looked at this, to hang a banner in the front, like when you enter the building, like at the other schools, like, there's not enough space between a window and the front door to do like flanking the door, because ideally that would be our best, right? Is to flank the doors as you enter. But this building does not have enough space to flank the doors.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's decorative stonework, which we wouldn't want to touch, and then there's brick, and the brick section is quite narrow. Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Big shells.
Thank you.
That's the front, you're saying the end of the back.
Yeah, most of the students enter through the back. Yeah, they're like, I've never seen
Okay.
because we always enter through.
Yeah.
Make a motion to find facts to state by staff and the other.
Mr. Cavalaris? Yes. Mr. Hoyt?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
No, but the application is approved. No, this is just the fine. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I will adopt the finding of fact. I have a motion to approve the application. I was already up at that, but I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve application PC 25-017.
Second.
But
Who was, for,
I
motion?
sorry about that.
Mr. Hoyt?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine? Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris? Yes. Chair Cooperman?
No, but your application. Okay. Next case is number 6, correct?
Yes.
GC 25-011, 2951 South High Street. Mr. Smedley, any particular facts you'd like to tell us about?
Applicant proposes to install 4 12-square-foot banners on Lake Pole in the parking lot. Variances are being requested to increase number of banners from 1 to 4, display time from 30 days to indefinite, and area from 16 square feet to 48 square feet for all 4. The proposed banners are appropriately sized and will be located in a manner that they minimize visibility from the public right of way. Staff recommends approval as the requested signage meets C2P2 guidelines and is compatible with surrounding residential character.
So on this particular site, again, these will be placed on the light poles in the parking lot.
And there's 4 light poles to parking.
There's more than 4 light poles in the parking lot, but we selected these poles.
Why did you select those particular 4?
Though we selected those 4 because they are walking into the school. We debated back and forth on having them in the horizontal area wide in front. If there's an opportunity to, the staff and the students just vacillated back and forth, and those are the ones they selected. If there's an opportunity to change the location to the ones in the front, we would consider that.
We'd have to get buildings and grounds to trim the trees.
Yeah.
So the light poles are actually within the trees. So we had to look at some of those variances for that.
Once they're full bloom.
Mhm.
Yeah. So those were the clearest areas, but it's difficult to see that from the street. So
Got it.
this is a little different than the other locations. And these are more inspirational. Good. That's why you space them out that way on a particular banner. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Any questions about this one?
Let's see if I can find one or misquoted.
Anyone?
My trouble.
Can I have a motion to adopt finding of fact?
Make a motion to adopt finding facts as stated by staff, yeah.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbach,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalieris,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, can I have a motion to approve the application?
Make a motion to approve application PC 25-011.
Second.
Mr. Rumbach,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalieris,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, the application is approved. Number 7, case number 7, application number GC 25-012, 3245 Oak Spring Street. Mr. Smedley.
All right, last one dealing with me. The applicant proposes to install 6 12-square-foot banners on light poles in the parking lot. Variances are being requested to increase number from 1 to 6, display time from 30 days to indefinite, and sign area from 16 square feet to 72 square feet for all 6,
This didn't get up.
combined for all
Oh,
6.
this did get-
Uh,
Oh, this one did not get
Didn't
updated.
Yeah, that the middle banner is, of course,
Yeah.
is not there. I don't-
It's not.
Yeah. So our apologies on that one. Yeah, that was a placeholder and something else that got sent. It's 6 banners. That one is deleted. We Are Mifflin is up twice.
Yeah.
It's the same recommendation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want that one stamped, so it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a placeholder because that's what the school wanted, and we had to lay it out, but it's not to be to put up there.
It's a typo and it's not my comment.
So that should have been removed and updated.
So there's,
There's 2 We Are Mifflin banners. So there's still a total of 6. The Mike Tomlin is not in there. So our sincerest apologies.
there's 6.
Yes, one banner is printed twice. This one.
If we go up a slide, there's more banners.
Mhm.
Wait, what's there, they're the punchers?
Yes, so that is the actual, the mascot, the entire, they were called originally the Cow Punchers, Mifflin Cow Puncher. Do not look at me. Yes, that's what the actual mascot, the historical context is, they were called the Cow Punchers. And then over time, they eliminated the the cow, and they're now called the Mifflin Puncher.
They call us the whole tangent. So let's not go there. Does anyone have any questions about this application? What's that?
I don't know who's doing or this, but I mean, this type of stuff, it's too much.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like, we are Netflix, right?
Mhm.
Home puncher, that's.
That's better.
I don't-
Yes. No, we understand. Okay,
Maybe it's better, but that's just my opinion.
thank you.
Can I clarify that there's 3 poles and a banner on each side of the pole?
Yes, we'll have, 2 poles that will be double and 1 single.
Okay. Can you just give a close-up of those poles, the 53 slide? So you're gonna have like those, it's gonna be projected on either side of them, or different.
Yes, on 2 of them,
One.
and then the center one will be 1. Yeah.
This looks like a cul-de-sac, right?
Yes.
Yes, you can only see it if you come all the way into the building.
This
You
one
can't
is
see any
touch
from the
back,
street.
Really.
How many are there, there's 3 total light poles and,
There's 4.
4 light
Yeah.
poles with 6 banners.
Yeah,
got it. Oh, it's hard to see.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. No questions, just like kind of a motion, which we've got finally back on this application.
Make a motion to adopt finding of facts step by step.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris?
Yes.
Mr. Hoyd?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and I have a motion to approve the application.
I'll make a motion to approve application G 5-0.
Second.
Mr. Cavalaris?
Yes.
Mr. Hoyd?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
No, but your application is approved. Okay, next is number 8, right?
Yep.
GC 25-013, 3201 through 3233 Allegheny Avenue.
So this is Afrocentric High School. It's 8 banners. They're all 2 by 6. 4 of them are facing the street, as you can see, and there's 3 that are internal, more internal. We originally said on our report that we were fine with the internal ones and we're not okay with those, with the ones facing the street. I feel like that would be changed now. Our recommendation probably be more similar to what we did in Jamie's, where they are institutional use and kind of the point of them is to be facing the street. While the other ones are, the internal ones, I doubt we'll be able to see from the street, honestly.
I mean, it's on the cul-de-sac, you got the whole street.
yeah, so the ones are in between the field house where, and access to the athletic fields and the actual school. They have, light poles in between those 2 buildings where the collection of, signs will be there. Those are the ones that are a little more intricate because they will be lower and used to, divide the spaces. And then we have 4 banners that will be facing Allegheny Avenue.
Well, Allegheny is it's a church and a college.
Yeah,
Houses.
and the housing complex, the apartment complex that you approved earlier. And those are, bigger light poles.
Yeah, right. on.
Yeah, right down the street.
Those apartments are very.
Yeah, so a lot of beautification on that street. Actually,
So, yeah.
Bexley Creek.
Yeah.
No, Jefferson.
Oh, big house. They got a big house.
Oh, did that-
Yeah, on James, correct, facing James.
But the first case today, it was also that.
That one across the street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just,
Yeah, that's it.
It's not like they're.
no, the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you keep going that way, I believe apartments are on the other side of the street, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing the same thing here where you have two banners on how many light poles?
We have four we have the light poles in the parking lot, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So we'll have one banner on those. And then in the center, in between those two buildings, there are a cluster of light poles. So as residents and fans that are attending games can then see, they are probably the only site that has those inside the campus. So we wanted to put banners there.
But you have two on some of those internal light poles and two banners or just one?
Just one of them in the middle has two, and then the other one are single ones.
So there's four on, so another one has two, that's about there.
75.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Down to, it's easy.
How many light poles are there total in the entire parking lot?
Yeah, there are more light poles. I think there are 2 in the interior and 2 on the end. But the grant stipulates that the poles have to be as close to the street as possible. So like the interior ones are coming out of our budget and the exterior are coming out of the grant. 614 Beautiful.
Who's the grant from?
City of Columbus.
City council.
Yeah.
Great city place to, sorry, I said again, banners have to be facing.
As close to this.
Yeah, the close to the street as possible.
Well, I'm a Jewish.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the funding for that?
Make a motion to I go back to see my staff and look at it.
Second that.
Seconds.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yeah.
Mr. Cavalera,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
Yes, and have a motion to approve the application.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for second, that's 2-013.
Second.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera,
Yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Chair Cooperman.
No, but you have to. Next case, GC 25-014, 417 South Wayne Avenue.
Yeah, I know this one. Clients.
We and, this is Eastmore, High School. It's 3 32 square foot banners, attached to the building right there.
Location.
So I don't think those are to scale or anything.
Yeah.
And we're recommending disapproval on these ones too, as we did with anyone that is attached to buildings.
What is the Eastmore's mascot?
It's the warrior with the thunderbolt. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Any questions?
Okay, so you're looking at 2-1.
Yeah.
Adams, you disapproval based a little bit on the depiction of how big those would be.
Well, no, I mean, they're 32 square feet, which are larger than, I guess, but definitely not because I didn't think those squares were accurate. That's what I was kidding.
It was also an advertisement.
We thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with the institutional, we would say, that changes our,
So I'm still on the 2-by-8 already. Why did you choose 4-by-8, not 2-by-8?
Just because of the space of the actual frontage of the building.
I gotta believe there's one other place.
They're wooden poles.
Those poles.
verticals.
Yeah, and the horizontal windows take it, this, we have, and, because we'll be back before you, next month. We have some schools with this similar design that we really struggle with how to, where and how to put them. Some of our building designs, i.e. Columbus North International, which is Brookhaven, the top is even more squatty, which poses a problem because the poles are wooden poles as well. And we're trying to have this distributed equitably across all of our buildings. But some of the designs and how they're offset from the street, and then the composition of the poles force us to come with alternative options.
Any other questions? So if you were to put these here, and the proportions are obviously way off.
Yeah,
Would you put them up towards the top of the building or in the center of those squares or towards the bottom of those squares?
they will be towards the top center.
Yeah, so you put it closer to the top of the building.
Yes.
The distance from the base of where the eastern sign is on the entrance to the building to that back building, maybe a couple hundred feet.
That would be a question from our buildings and grounds, yeah.
And then you've got all this frontage. Is that picture taken from the street? Yeah.
Yes.
Which street? Yeah, the line.
Why?
Wyatt.
If you're not even able to read this. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we believe you can, because the school isn't set that far back from the street. You should be able to see them from the street.
Yeah. Sorry. And that space right there between the trees, where we're talking about.
Yes,
The stipulation of the granite dam?
facing the street. Because the original proposal that was sent were for the utility poles. So for all to be vertical banners on the utility poles. When we submitted, we were denied at 13 locations. So we went back to the grantors because we already won the grant. And the stipulation was for the banners to still be facing the street. Would allow us to qualify for this. No. That's not the entrance. The entrance is over.
It's the door.
It is. I've never seen that.
36%.
So,
That should give you a sense of how big the signs might be.
yeah, but to help give you a sense of size, the distance between the top of the canopy over the entrance and the bottom of those letters to eastward is about 10 feet. So 4x8 banner
It's gonna be small.
between there.
Take that door, you should think about it.
Vertically. So that's why if they're back at the top of that back part of the building, it's not real. They'd actually fit, they would fit on the front of the building under the east wall.
And you can step on that.
That's it.
Again, it's going to block a little bit of.
And then they did all this.
Support of it. So,
Okay.
It might be some back.
We may
Yeah,
come
we
back.
may come back. Or put them under the east wall.
Well, I mean, they're just requesting the banners on that side of the building, not specifically in that location.
I can't hear you.
I said, the variance is just, the only thing specific is the elevation, so just on that side of the building, so.
And it's, again,
That's really, that's,
yeah, right.
you know, what's and the size now.
yeah, it's that, but.
Let my own brand.
Thank you.
I know that, you don't want to table this, do you want to table this one like we tabled the other one?
We can.
It's up to you.
I study. Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can look, yeah, we can have our buildings and grounds revisit the size and come back.
Okay, I have a motion to table this case, GC 25-04.
I'll make a motion to table DC 5-04. I'll second.
Thank you.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalaris? Yes. Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yeah.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes. And your case in April, and the final case is GC 25016, 179 South Avenue.
This is West High School. This is 4 10-square-foot banners on light poles on the south side of the building. Same variances as the one before, increase the display time from 30 days to indefinite, increase the area from 16 square feet to 40 square feet, and we're recommending approval on this one.
Why are these schools chosen?
They're all,
We're coming with all of our high schools, but we have, 3. Yes, we'll be back in May.
yeah,
How many high schools total is it?
What do we have them on?
18.
Yeah.
So this is like.
Well, we have, three schools, had metal poles, so we didn't have to bring them to the graphics commission. So we have 4, Fort Hayes, you already approved. We have, Beechcroft, Centennial, and East, that were approved through a different process. And then the remaining will be through this process.
So here we have how many signs?
4 signs.
4 light poles.
Yes. Yes. Those are decorative light poles that are much shorter in the front entrance. And all of the poles in that neighborhood are wooden. All of the other taller, bigger poles are wooden.
4 banners, 4 poles, makes sense to me. And it's the entrance way.
Yes.
We wish all our schools
Were
entered like this way.
And it would have been much easier.
Motion to adopt the finding of fact for this case.
Make a motion to adopt the finding of facts as stated like that.
Second.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Cavalera?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yeah.
Ms. Augustine?
Yeah.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Sir Goodman?
Yes, and a motion to approve the application.
Make a motion to approve application C 5-016.
Second.
Mr. Cavalera?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Moore? Sir Goodman?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? That's it? Okay, the meeting, April's